So let's talk a little bit about Monterey. Monterey, I think most people think about Cannery Row and the aquarium.
Yes, absolutely. And the part where you grow the grapes is actually quite a bit further inland in an area that's frankly warm enough to grow the grapes. We push the envelope a little bit, again, to get a little bit closer to the ocean, so we keep those bright, juicy characteristics and have that nice long growing season. But you've got to get in a little bit farther to get away from some of the extreme cold temperatures, because just off the coast in Monterey Bay, you've got what they call the Blue Grand Canyon, which is a 2-mile deep canyon of water that just keeps circulating the cool water, it keeps sinking and circulating, and you end up with a lot of really cold wind coming off of that.
It can be freezing there.
It is brisk.
It can be very cold.
Yeah, and it's the winds, honestly, of anything that characterize Monterey. They come up every afternoon and really, really stress out the vines, another common theme, by essentially making them fear, water loss, dehydration. They shut down their leaves, then it slows down the ripening. It's just another way of keeping those grapes in the vine longer.
And an interesting thing about Monterey is that it's actually a valley that opens up. Most of the valleys in California run parallel to the coast. This actually goes out, so that's why the winds come rushing down and rushing back out.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of cooling breeze, there's a lot of wind. Is the daytime temperature curve different in Monterey than on the Sonoma coast?
It's a little more moderate, actually, than in the Sonoma coast. It doesn't get as warm as it does in the Sonoma coast. I think their swing is more, is closer to, during the ripening season, 50 degrees to 75 degrees, whereas in Sonoma coast you can get a little bit cooler than that and a little bit warmer as well. So it's a broader swing. That big shift from day to night, again, it's something that's it's really great for wine grape growing. A little tough on the humans. Got to layer, definitely.
Yes.
But it keeps the acids from metabolizing too quickly, and just really helps with that structure and that brightness.
And what about climate's very important. The next most important thing are the soil types between the two regions. One thing in particular, Sonoma Coast, obviously it's a big appellation. Where are you drawing most of your fruit from?
Mostly from the Russian River, actually. So we also have a Russian River blend, which makes it fun for us because we have such a large number of barrels to choose from when we're picking out those very special lots to go into our Russian River smaller bottling. But especially when you taste the Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir, I think you're going to notice some of the nuances that you get in a Russian River Pinot as well, some of the cola and the spice. It's very, very typical of that region. So, but we also have the complexity that you get from the Carneros area, where you have some of those earthy qualities and more like really intensely sort of spicy and cigar box kind of notes. And then way out on the extreme coast, you've got all the bright, the bright cherry and the pomegranate, just really lively acidity. So
you have an enviable job being able to taste all these different wines and then play around with them and do your chemistry and art and create some beautiful wines. So I had asked about the soil types in Monterey versus Sonoma Coast. So let's just go back to that since that's sort of important.
I think that in the Sonoma Coast it's a lot more variable than in Monterey. Monterey it's more about choosing soils that are just really well drained. I guess that's sort of the theme throughout there. If you're in Sonoma Coast, you've got everything from those heavy soils of the Carneros. You've got dry riverbeds. It's just really they've got so many different types of soil in Sonoma that it's like a tapestry. It's really just a wonderful opportunity to try a different clone, different rootstock, and different parts of your vineyard when you notice the soil has changed. The vineyards, particularly in Russian River, tend to be tiny, very, very small, just a few acres.
Family plots.
Yeah, a few acres, and you end up with these wonderful, like, sort of patchworks of different clones of Pinot Noir, for example, that, again, if you're a little bit particular, like we are, you keep them all separate and see what they each have to offer. In Monterey, the vineyards tend to be a little bit larger than that, but you still end up with, I think, the weather at that point being a much stronger influence than even the soils can be.
And how about the clones? What clones of Chardonnay are predominant in Monterey and in your vineyards in Monterey? What clones of Chardonnay are predominant in your vineyards on the Sonoma Coast?
Well, I'm seeing in Monterey a lot more of we see the Clone 4, which is a very popular Chardonnay clone, which is a great sort of foundation clone. And then you add these wonderful, spicy, fruity, tropical notes of the Ruid clone on top of that, and you end up with all these really fun nuances of stone fruit.
So what makes her a good foundation clone? People out there,
Mm-hmm.
there are some people out there who think we're crazy right now because we're talking about clones of grapes and nuance, but what makes a good foundation wine?
Well, it's one that has it has a lot of great texture to it, but it also is one that is frankly a reliable ripener, and it's going to keep its nice acidity, and it's going to be this wonderful backdrop that then you add all of these other nuances to. It's a fantastic clone to work with, and then you just sort of add the finishing touches with some of the other clones. Because Ruid is a wonderful clone. It's it's like the life of the party. It's got this fantastic big personality, but you would never put it in a bottle on its own because people would not even recognize it as Chardonnay.
It's just too much.
It's too much. It's too much. It's too floral, to everything. So just light touches of that.
So what percentage of the wine is Ruid?
Oh, I think we're probably up around 7%. Yeah, 7%.
So it's a dollop.
There.
It's a big
it's
dollop.
There,
yeah.
but it's not. It has to be. It has to be tempered. Definitely.
It is
for
amazing.
our style. Other winemakers